Hi guys. So right now I'm about to do my part 2 of my crazy scary stories, and these are true stories that happened to me that cannot be explained, things that I don't understand and stuff like that. So let's get started. Okay, this happened to me a few years ago. I was walking, okay? I was walking my dog, Candy, and I saw this old man and this woman walking down the street. It was like an older guy and a younger woman. And he was talking to her, and she was like acting like he wasn't there. So I'm saying to myself, I didn't say to them, I'm saying to myself, that's weird, because she was just acting like the guy wasn't talking to her. So I walked up the street by the stop sign and the cross light, because it was like and a cross light because you can walk across the street. That's why they had both of them there. So I walked over there, and as I'm walking across the street with the woman and the man and my dog, he goes, "Kids never listen." And I laughed, like, right, just laughing. So I'm walking, and this man is still talking to this woman, and she's not responding to him. And I'm just like, why is she treating him like that? So mean, this is an older guy. And it turns out it was her father, right? So I'm walking with my dog, and he goes, "Can I pet your dog?" I said, "Sure." And so she looked at me like, and kept walking and left the old man. I'm like, why is she doing that? And I'm just making small talk with the older man, because he was a nicer older man. I was like, why is she doing that? He was like, "She never hears me." I said, okay. So I'm like, that's kind of weird and mean. And he was like, "No, it's not her fault." I said, "It's not her fault? How is that?" He was like, "Well, I just know it's not her fault." I said, okay, that's kind of cryptic. And like it was cryptic for him to say that. I'm like, okay, well, it was nice meeting you, and I just walked and everything. So something about that just kind of bothered me. I'm a sucker for my dad. Like, if my dad was here, I would be so happy. And that was her dad, and I just felt like that was so wrong of her to treat him like that. And she's like, "What man? My father's been dead for years." I'm like, "So you wasn't just talking to that man back there?" She was like, "What man?" And I described the man. I said he had on like this, because it was cold at this time. He had on like this sweater, this long gray sweater, some slacks, and he had on one of those slouchy hats. It's like a golfer's hat almost, but it was flat and round, and he had that type of hat on. And she was like, "That kind of sounds like my dad, but my dad has been dead." And I was like, "He was talking to you, like this guy was talking to you." And she was like, "I didn't see anybody." I'm like, so I turned around, I'm looking like, where did he go? And feeling like I'm freaking crazy because the man was talking to me. The man was talking to me, y'all. And I turned around where he was at. He was gone. He was gone into the freaking wind. And she looking at me like I'm freaking crazy. And I'm just like, that man was just talking to me. He was talking to me. It was a man talking to me. And I never forgot that. I was thinking about that the other day. And I was like, I have so many. So yeah, there is no ending to that. I never saw that man again. I never saw that woman again. It was a weird encounter, very weird encounter, because I spoke to that man. He seemed real. He touched my dog. You know, the one thing that I remember about it being weird with him touching my dog is that she didn't move. She was mean. She didn't like people. So he touched my dog and she just stood there and let him touch her. And that was weird because, you know, usually she'd be like, no, don't touch me, bruh. Don't touch me, you know. She was mean. So, yeah. Then there was this other incident that happened to me. This incident happened to me when, I was at the hospital, okay? I was at the hospital, and this was when my grandma was in the hospital or whatever, and she died. When I went to visit her, I had Athena with me, and Athena was a little baby at the time. She wasn't like really, really little. She was like 2, you know. And I used to take her. I took her to the hospital with me, and while we were walking in there, Athena was acting a little crazy, you know, she was hyper and stuff. So we were walking around and stuff, and I saw this man walking down the hallway, and he had a gown on, and his booty was out in the gown. Like, he had on them hospital socks. He had on some yellow hospital socks, and he had the hospital gown on, and he was walking down the freaking hallway with his booty out. And I was like, oh, sir. And he turned around. I said, the back of your thing is out, you know, you want me to fix it? And he was like, you do that? And I said, yeah, I do that. So I walked up to him. I had the stroller, and I pushed, you know, with Athena up to him, and I closed the back of his hospital gown. And he said, thank you so much. I've been walking around here for years, and nobody ever offered to close the back of my gown. And I said, what? And he's like, nobody ever offered to close the back of my gown. I've been walking around here for years. I'm like, why have you been walking around here for years like that? He was like, I have nowhere else to go. I said, so I said, actually, I'm here to see my grandma, so I'm gonna talk to you later. It was nice meeting you, you know, because that was weird, right? I said, it was nice meeting you. He was like, it was nice meeting you too. You have a beautiful baby. I said, thank you. And I walked away. So then one of the nurses, right, I was getting coffee, and one of the nurses was there refilling the coffee. She would put new coffee in there. I was like, yes, I can get some fresh coffee, right? Because I was gonna be there for a while with my grandma. So I'm like, yes, I can get some fresh coffee. So I said, wow, I mean, I was like, so you guys have the patients walking around here like that? She was like, what do you mean? I said, I just saw this older man, this older bald man, and he was walking down the hallway, and the back of his hospital gown was open, and I laughed with him about it. She was like, she said, the patients don't walk around here. She's like, this is hospice. And I was like, what? And she said, this is hospice, ma'am. The patients don't really walk over here. You know, they pretty much stay in their rooms. They don't walk around here. I said, but I just saw a patient walking down the hallway with his hospital gown open. I talked to him and closed the hospital gown. And she was like, ma'am, this is the hospice unit of the hospital. I'm like, so who the fuck was I talking to? I just stood there for a second, kind of frozen in time, because I spoke to this man. I touched him. I touched the man. I closed his hospital gown because his booty was out. And I'm thinking to myself, Harriet, what in the world goes on in your freaking life? Why does this shit happen to you? Why? Like, what did I do in my past life? That's what I be thinking. Like, I must have fucked up somewhere pretty fucking bad in my past. That's the only thing that can explain some of the shit that happens to me. But that struck a nerve with me. I told my mom. At that time, I wasn't talking to my sister. Me and her were fighting. I told my mom, like, this is man walking around and the nurse is telling me the patients don't walk in here. And she was like, they don't, Harriet. This is hospice. This is, you know, when patients, this is when people go in here to die, basically. That's what hospice is, you know. When they put my grandma in hospice, I knew it was a bad thing. You know, I knew she was about to die, you know. But that encounter with that old man stayed with me. He was a nice old man, and I mean, for him to say, I've been walking around here for years and nobody ever offered to close my gown. I'm like, that stuck in my mind. Like, did Athena see him? You know, and I asked Athena, I said, Athena, did you see mommy talking to the man? And she said, no, mommy, you know, but I didn't think she understood what I meant, but she said no. She was a pretty good talker then. But that was weird for me. It was very weird. This next story happened to me when I was in the 4th grade. Okay, I was in the 4th grade and I was doing a Black History play that I refused the role. I didn't want to do it, but my teacher forced me to do it because she wanted me to. She just really wanted to humiliate me because she knew I was a shy girl. You know, she knew I got picked. She was a bitch. Ooh. I still see her sometime and she tried to talk to me like we're friendly, but I let her know, like, you're a bitch. I don't call her that, but she's a bitch. You know who you is. So anyway, she forced me to do this Black History play. So my mom made me this very nice African print costume to wear in the Black History play. And I was memorizing my lines because I was so afraid to mess up, because I was extremely shy. I was a very, 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 very shy person. I'm still a little shy, but I'm getting out of my shell. But yeah, I was really shy. So while we were backstage waiting, me and this girl got into a fight, like a literal like fight like that, really quick in the back of the theater. And the teacher grabbed, Harriet, Toya, you guys cut this out. Harriet, you go on the other side. And so I had to walk through the back curtain to the other side of the theater. That always scared me when we had to do that in line. It was very scary for me because I am claustrophobic. I don't like closed-in spaces. So when she used to make us walk through the back of the theater in a line, like with all the students, it bothered me. But I had to do it by myself, so I was scared. I was like, I don't want to. I'm stay over here. Why she can't go? And so she was like, Harriet, go on the other side. Go on the other side. So I was like, fine. So I was going to walk off stage and go around that way. But because I was a part of the play, she was like, you can't do that. You have to go on the back. Go through the back of the stage. So I'm like, fine. So my mom was there. My nephew was there, I think. Yeah, my nephew Ben was there. He was cheering for me like crazy. Oh my God. My nephew was there. My sister was there. Everybody was there to see me in this play, even though I had one part. But it was a big part. It was a long part, but I had one part. So I walked my scary ass in the back, and it was a curtain, black curtains doing this. So I'm walking, and it was long. It was a long walk. So I'm walking, right? As I was walking, when I got like to the middle of the theater, a piece of the curtain was stuck to the wall. Like it looked like a person was pushing it like this up against the wall. So I'm walking, I'm like, excuse me, I have to get by. So the person, they did like this for me to walk by. So I walked by, and then they pushed it back while I was in the thing here. They pushed it back and pushed me against the wall, and I screamed like crazy, screaming. I was punching like, you know, get off me, get off me, get off me. And then one of the stage handlers came, and they came and grabbed me. What happened? I said, somebody pushed the curtain on me. Somebody pushed the curtain on me. And he was like, there's nobody here. There's nobody here. Nobody was back here. And I'm like, somebody pushed the curtain on me. Oh my God. And I was breathing so hard. And then here come my part in the play. So the teacher was she was doing this to get them to say something else in the play, because I had to calm myself down. I went out there, did my part, I came out, and then the play was over. So I was telling one of my classmates about what happened, and she was like, really? That happened to me one time. And she was like, I walked through there one time and that happened to me, but I thought that something fell on me. She was like, but you telling me that happened to you, that's scary, because I think that happened to me one time. You know, she talked like that because we were kids and stuff, you know. So yeah, that was a scary situation, because I know somebody did that. Like, and they telling me nobody was there. Toya didn't do it. It wasn't Toya, because she was on the other side of the stage with the teacher. So I knew it wasn't the girl I had got into the scuffle with. And I didn't see nobody's feet there either, because it was a curtain. You know, they were, whatever pushed me against the wall into the curtain. Like, okay, I'm gonna give y'all an example. This towel, this is my baby's towel, her Doc stuffings. Okay, so this is the curtain, right? This is me. This is me. The person pushed over me like this, basically up against the wall in the curtain. I didn't see feet or anything like that. So that was weird for me. And again, there is no conclusion to that. I don't know what happened, who pushed me or anything like that. But I didn't see feet. I didn't see anything. I didn't hear a voice, nothing. And the guy who came and helped me was right behind the curtain. So he didn't see anybody. So yeah, that was a weird encounter for me. I did get in trouble for fighting Toya, so Yeah, man. There was this other incident. Yes, another incident. When I was in elementary school, I specifically remember this. It was on the news too. I'm gonna see if I could try to find a news clipping about it, but it was on the news. When I was in, I want to say, I was like in first grade, really little at this time. But there are some times where I still have flashbacks of this particular incident. I went to the restroom, right? I went to the restroom, and when I went to the restroom, I would hear this like a high pitched turning type of thing, like something is turning. Every time I went in the bathroom. And I specifically remember sitting down on the toilet, because I ain't know no better. I was sitting down on the toilet and I heard like that. Almost peed myself trying to get out the bathroom. Like I peed, wiped, and ran the fuck out. Right. And then I went and I told the teacher that I heard weird noises coming out of the bathroom. So she had gotten a complaint like that earlier. So this time they investigated the noise. She heard the noise too. She went to use the bathroom. She used the bathroom and heard that type noise in the bathroom. So she investigates herself, right, and lifts up the toilet seat and finds a tiny camera under the toilet seat. Come to find out, one of the workers, which was a man that I knew at the school, knew me. He was one of my teachers at one point. He put cameras inside of the girls' restroom so he can catch us using the bathroom. But one of his cameras malfunctioned, and that's why it was making that little squeaky noise. So it was all over the news. So that means that I got caught on camera pissing when I was in first grade. It's not paranormal, but that shit was scary, and I never talked about it. So yeah, that was in the 90s, so I don't know if I can even find a newspaper article about it, but it was on the news. So yeah, I could see his fat head ass in my mind, right? I could see his fat head self in my mind right now. He had this gray mustache, blonde hair, bastard. Anyway, so yeah, there was this is one more incident that I had when it was my birthday. I'm trying to remember exactly what birthday it was, but I do still have pictures of this particular birthday. And I met this woman, this gypsy named Sylvia, and I was with my best friend Antoinette, and I was with Camille, and this was my birthday. And the lady, I was in the restroom, and the lady came up to Camille and was like, "Your aura, I just had to come and talk to you." And she started explaining all this stuff because Camille wanted a baby at the time. Oh, she really wanted a baby, she this, she that, and whatever. And at that time, I was pregnant. And she said to me that I'm supposed to have these babies. These babies are supposed to be born. They have a great purpose. They this, they that. Then she tells me that something is attached to me in my house. And this was around the time when I found out that that incident happened with the last story, with the ball, the fur ball, the Sprite, that, the orb. That was when that happened, and I found out about my grandma dying in this room. My great grandma dying in this room. She said that there is something attached to me in my house. She mentioned some other things about me, about my life, but one thing that she mentioned that caught me off guard is she told me that these babies were not made in my bed. They were made in a different bed. And I said, no, I got pregnant in my bed. She said, no, no, no. I see 2 babies in your future, but they will not be born while you have sex in your bed. She said, there's something in your house preventing you from being happy. There's something in your house that's preventing you from having a family. She said, I really feel as though you need to leave your house. And I was like, where am I go? I burst into tears crying because she said some things to me that kind of just was like, whoa. I burst into tears. It was my birthday and I cried like a freaking baby because of what that lady Sylvia told me. And after that, that was when that whole incident happened with Ray. If y'all remember my story about Ray. If not, I will leave links to these particular videos in the section if I bring them up. I had went through my breakup with Ray, and I ended up miscarrying the twins that I carried. Sylvia told me, no, 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 you were supposed to have these babies. You were supposed to have these babies. And come to find out, every time I got pregnant, I was pregnant with twins. Every time. I've been pregnant 3 times. And each time, it has been twins. And the only baby that I had to full term was Athena. And I lost one baby in the womb, a son. I was going to name Harrison. And it's weird to me because I think about what she said all the time. She told me that I couldn't get pregnant in my own bed. I have to be, for me to get pregnant, I have to be, I can't get pregnant in my house. That's what she told me. So I was like, it made me think about all the miscarriages I had, you know. So it's like, could it be something with my, could it be, you know, what could it be? So yeah, I don't know what happened to Sylvia, but she told me that there's something attached to me, and that's why I have different feelings about things, why I have, like, you know, things that go on with me, because there is something attached to me, you know, something attached to me, and that worries me. At the same time, I try not to think so much into it because I drive myself crazy trying to think into that crap, you know, like, what's attached to me. She told me that she would help me release whatever is latched on to me, but I had to pay her $700 to do this. And I believed her. I didn't pay her this money though, but I believed her. But she gave me some stuff and told me to bathe in. She gave me this stuff and told me to bathe in it to help me sleep and all this. Things have gotten better ever since I bathed in that stuff. So my life has not been as chaotic ever since then. So I really believe that stuff worked. I believed what she said because she told me things that I never tell anybody, you know. And she was like, are you okay with, you know, me talking to you about this while your friends are here? I'm like, it's fine, you know, because they knew the majority of stuff that, you know, went on in my life, so I didn't mind. But when she started saying some extra personal stuff, I was like, wow, you know, I didn't mind, you know, I ain't got nothing to hide. So yeah, I remember that day like it was yesterday. But yeah, she basically told me that something has latched on to me and is draining me, basically. So I was like, wow. So that is it for my stories. Yeah, that's it for the stories, y'all. I again can't really explain this stuff. I don't know why this stuff happens to me. I don't know what could be attached to me, but she did. And it's funny, like some of the stuff that she said struck with me, because when I had gotten pregnant from Ray, it was in my bed in this room where I got pregnant, and I miscarried. Each time I got pregnant in this room, I miscarried. I got pregnant with Athena and Harrison in a different location than my room. I didn't get pregnant here. So I found that to be extremely crazy that she said that and felt that she had to tell me that these babies were not conceived in that house. They were conceived somewhere else. And at that time, I think she was picking up something from the future as opposed to what's happening at that point. Because I miscarried shortly after that in that whole incident with Ray. So yeah, that lady struck a nerve with me. You know, I want to talk to her now actually to see, you know, if things have gotten better for me or something. But I lost her number, and I haven't been to the Hard Rock in forever to run into her, and I don't think I'd run into her again, you know. And I told my mom about that encounter with that woman, and she was like, she probably would just wanted your money. I said, but she was saying like truthful things, you know. It's not like, you know, she knew things. It's not like, you know, she was just guessing on stuff. She knew stuff. So she basically told some of my deepest secrets. Some things that I didn't tell, that I tell people, but people who are close to me, you know, some of my deepest secrets she told me. That's how I knew she wasn't a fake lady. Really know what she talking about. So yeah, that's it, y'all. That's everything. And I hope you guys enjoyed my part 2 of scary, crazy stories. So yeah, that's it. Bye.